So, good morning, everyone. Since it is our last official session of the loss, losing, and loosening sessions, um, the book I've been talking about, Francis Weller's book, had 5 gates of grief, not 4. So, um, gate 4 and 5 for this session are 8:4 he talks about as being what we expected and did not receive in our lives. And he talks about that grief as the kind of longing to belong and to be valued for who we are in ways that many of us haven't experienced or have had times in our lives where we didn't experience. And then gate 5 in his book is called ancestral grief. And it's about the grief that we carry within us from sorrows experienced by our ancestors. And I think, most of us have some experience of that in our bodies when we tune into it. So let's go around and just do our good morning check-ins. A word or two about how you're doing today. And as I said, if you have a strong sense of, do you want a specific grief poetry group to continue? If you know the answer, that's great. But really just where are you today and what's the strongest image of how you're feeling this morning? Absolutely. So, this first poem today is a poem by John Fox, who is a wonderful Bay Area poet. He lives here now. He didn't grow up here, but I studied with John for a couple of years in a program called Poetic Medicine, which is some of where all of this work comes from. He has a fabulous book that's full of many pages of mine called Poetic Medicine. He also has another great book called Finding What You Didn't Lose. And his books include exercises around poetry. And so this is a poem that I loved from the first time I heard it from him, called When Someone Deeply Listens to You. When someone deeply listens to you, it's like holding out a dented cup you've had since childhood and watching it fill up with cold, fresh water. When it balances on top of the brim, you are understood. When it overflows and touches your skin, you are loved. When someone deeply listens to you, the room where you stay starts a new life, and the place where you wrote your first poem begins to glow in your mind's eye. It is as if gold has been discovered. When someone deeply listens to you, your bare feet are on the earth, and a beloved land that seemed distant is now at home within you. When someone deeply listens to you, your bare feet are on the earth, and a beloved land that seemed distant is now at home within you. So, what speaks to you from John's poem?
Your bare feet on the earth.
Yeah. A beloved land that seemed distant is now at home within you.
Great. The room where you stay starts a new life.
It is like holding out a dented cup that you've had since childhood.
Yeah. The place where you wrote your first poem.
Watching it fill up with cold, fresh water.
Now at home within you.
So let's do a write either using when someone deeply listens, or maybe you have an image of the place you wrote your first poem and want to write about that. Or, as always, if there's another phrase that you want to start with, use that. So, when someone deeply listens, and we will do a 4-minute write. Would someone like to read? So I'm going to read a poem by a woman named Oriah Mountain Dreamer Hauser. She's a Canadian poet. I learned she is not actually a Native American, which I thought she was. She's a Caucasian Canadian who has had many, many different teachers in her life. And this poem is called Dancing Anyway. Wounds can be healed. Some leave a scar. Some leave us walking with a bit of a limp. We can spend years trying to walk as if we've never been hit. Learning to pass as someone who has never felt the blade, never been burned by the fire. Trying to fade every scar. Or we can accept what is and move to the music as we are. A little lopsided, tilting into the wind. Coming to a sudden stillness when a voice or a movement ignites an old neural pathway within the remembered scent of blood and burning. We pause for just a moment, not breathing, then exhale and inhale, and move to the melody once more. Some wounds, even after they're healed, leave us walking with a bit of a limp, but they cannot stop us from dancing.
Accept what is and move to the music as we are.
Trying to fade every scar.
The ending. Some wounds, even after they're healed, leave us walking with a bit of a limp, but they cannot stop us from dancing.
Go ahead, Mom. Say it. Walking with a limp of a memory. Go ahead. Jerry, go. But they cannot stop us from dancing.
A little lopsided, tilting into the wind.
Igniting an old neural pathway.
Yeah.
Trying to walk as if we'd never been hit.
learning to pass. So let's use either wounds can be healed or we can accept what is. We pause for just a moment, or a phrase that jumps out at you, and we'll write for 3 minutes.
Right. Anything that comes up.
Would someone who hasn't read yet like to read? Wow. As always, I just feel so moved and so honored to be part of this process with everyone. And I know that, for me, the writing that comes through always surprises me as well, in terms of, I don't know what prompt I'm going to take until we're here together either. And it's just like, oh, wow, that's in there too. And I just find it so powerful. And so I'm so thrilled to be with you all, finding this way to let things through that just, it's so beautiful. And as always, really invite you to send us poems that have come through you in this session. If you want to work on it more, fine. If you don't, that's fine too, because they're all pretty amazing to me. Our plan sort of at this point is to do a quarterly kind of online booklet of the poems that are coming out of our groups. So probably September will in reality be the first one, the first booklet compilation. But so please send us whatever you're willing to share, because they're just all magnificent. I just so appreciate all of your energy and willingness to let these feelings come through in this way. I'm going to end just by reading one of my favorite poems about grief, called Adrift by Mark Nepo. Everything is beautiful, and I am so sad. This is how the heart makes a duet of wonder and grief. The light spraying through the lace of the fern is as delicate as the fibers of memory, forming their web around the knot in my throat. The breeze makes the birds move from branch to branch as this ache makes me look for those I've lost in the next room, in the next song, in the laugh of the next stranger. In the very center, under it all, what we have that no one can take away, and all that we've lost, face each other. It is there that I'm adrift, feeling punctured by a holiness that exists inside everything. I am so sad, and everything is beautiful. We have so much sadness, so much to grieve, really, always. And there's the beauty of an hour like this, and the beauty of the world, the parts of the world that are beautiful, and the parts of our lives that are still and always beautiful, and the parts where we keep dancing. and singing and writing poems. So thank you all for this amazing journey together. Really, please, please keep writing these poems.